Hey Han, I'm Chloe, and this is the Star of David, Hercules, or no-handed chopper tutorial. My mission here is to share my passion for pole dancing and make pole dancing easy to learn and accessible. This is the 12th video of the intermediate pole trick tutorial series. In order to maximize your training out of all the videos, I highly recommend you to start from the very first video of this playlist, as the tricks will be a progression of the video before. The no-handed chopper is such a crowd pleaser trick. The prerequisite for this move is your straddle inverts, outside leg hang, and your pike, so make sure you've watched that before. This video is mirrored for your ease of learning. I'll have a red wristband on my right wrist and my right ankle to indicate the right side of my body if you do get confused of the directions. This trick tutorial is created for you for information and educational purposes only, and for you to enjoy learning pole dancing from the comfort of your own home. Please participate at your own risk and do not work beyond your capability, and seek help or spotting when necessary. For any health concerns, please make sure you seek professional medical advice. Please make sure you warm up your body before you start this video. I have a warm-up playlist depending on the level, so make sure you try that warm-up before you do the tricks. If you enjoy this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up so that I know to create more of these kinds of videos, and consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't yet, so that you are notified every single time I upload a video. If you're looking to further your pole journey and combining tricks and dance together, then consider subscribing to my online learning platform, Pole Art Vault, where you'll be learning an entire routine with trick combos and dance together. For further information, you can find the link in the description. Alrighty, without further ado, let's get into the Star of David, Hercules, or no-handed chopper tutorial. Alrighty, let's get into our conditioning. Just to preface this, I'm only going to be going through conditioning today that's going to help you through extension of your legs in the Star of David. So if you need any conditioning for your inverts, outside leg hangs, pikes, just make sure that you've watched those tutorials before we start with this one. So let's come down onto the floor. Now we're going to sit in front of the pole, and you're going to straddle the pole with both of your legs. Now I'm going to ensure that my knees are aligned to the center line of the pole, and I'm going to start off by extending my legs and then folding them in. Now you're going to grab the pole just around chest height, and you're going to lean slightly backwards, then lifting both of your legs up. Then we're going to straddle those legs and then bring it back in. Now I'm just going to do this from a side profile so they can see. Ensure that you're not hunching your back when you're leaning backwards. Try to extend your back nice and straight. So from this position, head to hip in one line, and then I'm just leaning slightly backwards, keeping the bend through the elbows. So try not to lean all the way back unless if you must. If you're struggling to lift your legs, you might have to lean slightly back and rely on those arms. That is totally fine. Now, if you want to make this harder, you can keep your posture upright and then lift your legs up and then bring them out. So harder, easier. So let's try 4 leg lifts. You can bring them down at any time if you feel like your legs are going to get too tired. Engage through your core, squeeze your quads, make sure that you keep your legs extended, point through your toes. And lift both of your legs up, bring it out. 3, 2, and last one. Well done. Now, if you want to keep conditioning your legs, you can do another 2 sets, so 3 sets in total. Or if that's too much for you, we are done. Let's get into a trick. Alrighty, let's get into our Star of David, Hercules, or no-handed chopper tutorial. This is what it looks like. Alrighty, so as you can see, it is very similar to our pike, but the only difference between the pike and the Star of David is that you're bringing your outside leg away from the pole. Meaning your inside armpit grip and your inside thigh grip and your shelf grip is going to be even more important than when you're doing your pike or the fold over. So let's just try this together. We're going to come into our invert outside leg hang. Make sure you get that pole right into your shelf, the squishiest part, and the inside armpit. You're gonna bring that leg across. If it helps you, grab that leg with your outside hand. You're gonna come into a fold over first. From there, take your hands off if you can. If you need to, you can also bring your leg across. Press the pole with your inner thigh and your inside shelf and the back of your arm. Take your hands down to the floor, looking down, really opening your chest, proud chest. To come back, squeeze the pole back, outside knee hook, and then coming out. Well done. Now let's try this on the other side, but this time around, I'm gonna show you on spin mode so that you can see the different angles in the Star of David. So, into your invert. Oh, also, I almost forgot. When you do your inverts, you can obviously do it from a front hook, aerial back hook, drop down into the outside leg hang as well. That's another entry option. So for those that want to try that, you can try that as well. Actually, I'll show that to you now. Let's do this together. On the other side. I'm gonna slide it down into my outside leg hang. You're gonna bring that leg across. Both hands off from the beginning if you can. Then you're gonna bring your leg across into your Star of David. Well done. So as you can see on the other side just then, I actually didn't use my hand to grab the ankle. So if you feel like you've got enough grip through your thighs, you can totally do it without your hands. The only time you're using it is when you drop down into the outside leg hang, and the rest of it, you should be able to do it without your hands if you have the right grip. Well done. Now let's go through some tips and common mistakes. Now, our first common mistake is not watching the other tutorials. Now, remember that if you feel like you're not getting the right grip, or if you feel like you're not really getting the move, it might be because your foundations are a little bit shaky at the moment. So remember to watch the straddle invert, outside leg hang, pike fold over tutorial. Those three are going to be your trifecta of getting this move. Now the rest of the tips I would probably just give you is to ensure that you're opening through your chest, inside armpit push. That's all part of the fold over tutorial. And then the last thing is you want to make sure that when you're coming out of it, that you're coming out of it nicely. So you're either coming back into a leg hang, or if you feel really grippy, you can actually go straight into a straddle from there. I shall show you that very soon. But the last, I guess, common mistake is just make sure that you're really working through those hands. I have mentioned this in the past as well, but remember that you want to create a very nice fox hands with your hands, no traffic controller hands when you get into the trick. So I'll just show you what the trick looks like and the exit. So once I come into the Star of David, you can see that the hook and the squeeze is through the inner thigh and the inside armpit. So all you need to do is grab the pole with the outside hand just above the cookie, and then grab the other hand, and then you should be able to come into a straddle and then stepping down. So that's another exit option if you don't want to hook your leg back, or if you want to try a different exit as well. Now the other exit you can do from that is come into an inside leg hang. This actually applies for the fold over as well. You don't always have to hook your outside leg back. You can drop into an inside leg hang from there. So once you come into your Star of David, from there, you're gonna hook your inside leg onto the pole, drop that outside leg down, and then you're in your inside leg hang. So try exploring with different entries and exits. It's always fun to try different transitions, entries and exits, just so that you can start working on your combos rather than just your tricks. Then feel free to do that. Now, one last tip I have for you in the Star of David is that when you're in the Star of David, your inside hand is obviously going to be hard to move because you're pressing through the inside armpit, but your outside hand that's free, you're actually free to do whatever you like through your outside hand. So what I usually like to do is keep moving my outside hand to create a little bit more of flow and a little bit more of that interesting movement rather than just keeping my hand still. Now, this is obviously an option. If you want to keep your hand still, feel free to do that. Or otherwise, if you like to keep moving it, create a little bit more flow through your movement, you can do that as well. So I'll show you what I mean. So once I come into my Star of David, my inside hand is pressing, but the outside hand, I can actually start moving it around. I slide it up, down, move it to the side, and you can see that it creates a little bit more movement in the Star of David. So give that a crack if that's your style, and try stylizing your movement. Well done. And that's all your tips and common mistakes. Alrighty, now I've got a little tip for you when it comes to training and feeling motivated, or I guess appreciating how far you've come. Now, this is a really common one that I see where I can also empathize with this because I have gone through this in multiple stages of my pole journey, is that sometimes you feel really stagnant in your pole journey because you feel like you're not really achieving much. Now, when you feel that, most of the time, and not always, but most of the time, when you've gone through your old videos of your old training, sometimes you're just sort of like taken aback and you're like, oh, actually I have come a very far way since I've done this X trick, or about maybe 2 months ago when I used to do this trick. You'll be surprised how much you have progressed, and this is why it's so important to track your progress in your journey. Sometimes we tend to forget about like videoing things, or maybe you don't even want to video things because you haven't perfected the move. But remember that tracking your progress is such a big part of pole, and also knowing how far you've come and actually visualizing how far you've come. I really feel that about my own flexibility journey sometimes. And sometimes I feel like I'm not progressing a lot until I look at my video from about a month or 2 months ago, or even like a year ago. And I would be like, oh, I have come a very far way. I have actually improved on my flexibility. I shouldn't be hard on myself. And we are such harshest critics of ourselves. So remember to always track journey, make sure that you get some really good videos. And obviously if you are tracking your progress and taking some videos, make sure you tag me as well. I would love to be part of your journey, and I would love to see your progress as well. Thank you so much for joining me in the Star of David, Hercules, or no-handed chopper tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you in the very next tutorial. Bye. This is the, was it Star of David, Hercules, no-handed chopper. Okay. Oh my God, why do I keep forgetting it? No, Star of David. It's the, fuck. Fucking hell, I'm losing it.